And hello, everybody. Welcome to Two Guys Talking Sports. I'm Pat McDonald with Radigan Media and Choice 102. He's Tim Birney of Valley Sports Report and all the sports reports throughout the Twin Tiers here. Tim, we still got some football teams going on, some swimmers getting ready for states, but let's talk some winter sports, which kicks off this past Friday for Pennsylvania, starts today for New York side of things. So seems crazy that winter's already here, although not weather-wise. Last week was clearly winter.
Yeah, but, sidelines Friday night were a little bit chilly. So,
so let's talk. Let's start with wrestling. Obviously, we'll start with the defending champs in New York State. Division II, the Waverly Wolverines. They go last year, up to Albany, right, and without one of their top two wrestlers, and still win the title by a ton.
Wells. Of course, if they do that this year, they're going to have to do the same thing because Drayton DeKay, their highest finisher this past year, is out with hurt his knee playing football. So he's going to miss the whole season. That's unfortunate. But they bring back Wells and Cooper Robinson and a whole host, Riley Stotler, Troy Beeman, Braden Bowman.
Yeah.
And so they're pretty solid. And they've got Dalton Davis coming back this year. Some other Parker Larson should contribute this year. They're pretty deep. Obviously losing Drayton DeKay is a big drag on what they want to do as far as winning the Section 4 duels and winning the Section 4 championship. But I think they could still take, I think they took 5 or 6 to states last year. They could do that again easily this year.
And that puts them in when you get to states, that team race is different than a dual meet. So
absolutely.
How about Tioga? What's Coach Harrington? What's he looking at?
Well, they bring back state champ Declan McKee. They bring back Jaden Duncanson, who's placed 4 times at states. They've got some good young sophomores that got a lot of experience last year as freshmen. Caden Cole will be back. He was a state qualifier and state place finisher 2 years ago who got hurt last year, hurt his elbow, missed the postseason. They're going to be pretty good. They picked up some kids that, like Aiden Black from Sayre might be in their starting lineup. I had to sit last year when they transferred up there. Yeah, they should be pretty good again. I'm liking what I've seen. They've got some bigger kids that Mark McCain at heavyweight. So I think Tioga's going to put themselves back in the mix for the duels and the Section 4 championship.
Always fun to watch.
Yeah, and then you got other teams like Owego. They got a decent young group coming up through. I think they're a year or two away from being really good. Spencer Vanette and Cander's got some kids coming back this year that could qualify, could push their way into states. Newark Valley lost a good group of seniors, but they've got a bunch of seniors this year that were juniors last year that'll push for a shot at state. So I think Tioga County Wrestling this year is going to be pretty solid.
Let's head across the border, NTL side of things. Athens brings back a lot from a talented team a year ago. Just looking at the roster, Trayton Barrett, district champ in AAA last year down at Williamsport. Didn't place down at states, but PIAA AAA, or didn't place at regionals, I should say. That's a tough region down there in Easton. But Zane Campbell, been good the last couple of years.
Brendan Cook, going to move up a few weight classes.
Just a few, yeah. Connor Davidson back again. Carson Sipley. I mean, they got a...
Lucas Person,
yep. And then, some youngsters coming up from a good junior high program under Dustin Bishop and Jeremiah Bailey. So I think Athens, one of the favorites in the NTL. Usually Athens, they focus, if you've ever been to the Athens gym or in the wrestling room, they have the wall down there with the individual state place winners. That's always the goal for Athens, is to get as many people down to Hershey and placing as possible. But this year might be one of the years where they have so much talent, a dual meet title is not out of that question.
Yeah, and Towanda graduated a really talented group of seniors. Troy lost a couple seniors. I think the team, I think Towanda will still be pretty solid. I think, I don't know how deep Williamson's lineup is, but it's pretty top heavy. They've got some talented kids over there. So I think Athens probably the team to beat. as far as duels go in the NTL. But Tawanda's a team to watch because they've got, like I said, a talented group down there, and Williamson. And Wellsboro's got some kids back. I just don't know how deep they're going to be either.
Yeah, Wellsboro, obviously really good coaches over there, and throughout the NTL, the good coaches. But yeah, Towanda, I mean, yeah, you lose it. I mean, when you lose Mason Higley, Riley Vanderpool, Riley Slater, and I'm missing somebody there too as well from looking at the roster now there, but Jace Gunther, some other guys that have been there, Chase Gearin, but they're bringing back some guys too. Obviously, Reese Slater back, Jacek Brown,
Tanner Vanderpool,
Gage Evans, who I'm assuming is back. He's missed most of the football season. Hopefully back for wrestling there. Brighton Yale, who's kind of been stuck behind some guys, might get a chance this year. So it's I mean, I think Coach Sexton always has numbers. The depth is always huge for Towanda. So there's probably somebody we don't know about right now that's going to be really good. And Coach Sexton, I believe, 7 wins away from the all-time PIAA wins record for head coaches, and so should get that maybe by the time the first dual tournament rolls around there in Towanda.
That's the difference. The biggest difference, like between Towanda and Athens, is that Sean Bradley will put his team in 4 different individual tournaments, and Coach Sexton will go to 4 different duals tournaments.
Yep, and it's different strategies, obviously different philosophies as way to Athens will sometimes go into the duals postseason with 8 matches or 10 matches under the belt when some of these other schools like Towanda have 20 some. So, but Towanda is such a good program for so many years, one of the favorites once again in the NTL, and record watch for Coach Sexton. Already the all-time District 4 wins leader, and program is well past 900 wins in the program history.
It's pretty amazing.
Which has only had 4 or 5 coaches, I think, since the start. Ed Branish started the thing back in the 50s, and there wasn't many.
Bill's been at it since
late 70s, early 80s.
Early 80s, yeah. At least
I think he was an
40
assistant
years.
in the 70s, and so, just a great guy, and looking forward to seeing him climb atop the all-time wins record in PIAA sometime this year. So
probably also ought to mention Sarah, Jordan Brown.
Yeah.
Be back for his junior year. Had a nice season last year.
Going all over the place. I saw he was at a college tournament this past weekend maybe.
Yeah.
Got some reps in. And
it's good to see. It's really tough during the regular season for him, though, because there's not, they've only got 3 or 4 kids in that room. I've heard the numbers are going to be a little better this year than I've heard they're not going to be. So I guess we'll wait and see on Monday how many kids they got in the room.
Shout out to the United Training Facility in Athens, which helps out Jordan Brown a ton. I know Dave Patrick doing such great work down there, just training. For years, kids like Brian Courtney and all these other kids from Athens or anywhere around here had to travel hours to go train
a lot of them were up in Ithaca area.
Yeah.
That Frogs program up there.
That or down in Bucknell. They were all over the place. So now
I know Courtney and AJ Burkhart and those guys used to go up and roll around with Yanni Giacomohalis when they were all in high school. So.
Yeah, so now you right down here in Athens, the United Training Facility, Dave Patrick and his crew down there. Dave also coaching Wyalusing wrestling, trying to turn that program back into the powerhouse it was. So it should be interesting to watch. It's my favorite time. I hate the weather this time of year coming up, but my favorite season.
At least we're inside. They're not wrestling outside. So
girls wrestling, obviously it's just up and coming. It's still building every year. It's getting bigger and bigger. And I know Athens always has a great group of girls down there. Waverly's building their program up.
Tioga's got better numbers this year. And they've got a couple, Kaya Nelson, really, really good wrestler. Athens has got Hannah Rathbun. She's fun to watch. Waverly's got a couple pretty quality girls. So it's going to be a fun year. And like you said, a growing sport.
Some teams are, I know there's some different co-ops going on this year in wrestling. I think maybe Towanda Wyalusing going together for girls, I've heard, but I know talking to Jack Young, the AD down in Towanda, I think they're in the process of building a girls wrestling room separate from the boys, which is, huge. And I'm sure we'll see more of that going on. But yeah, it's fun to watch. We'll get more into it and talk specifics as we get closer to the season there.
Yeah, and the Jarvis tournament's always got a nice girls field in it. So
yeah, usually
that's been the last couple of years been a lot of fun to go down there and watch.
Absolutely. Let's turn to the hardwoods. Basketball. I mean, the talent loss from a year ago. We'll start NTL side of things. I mean, the Troy boys have lost a lot of talent from the last couple of years, but still going to be right there, I think.
I think they come back to the pack. They could still win it. They could still win the NTL, but I think they come back to the pack. I think, you got to consider Towanda in the mix, and I think Athens is in the mix too. Athens concerns me a little bit because he's just the last couple of years have had trouble putting the ball in the hole. They're athletic and they can play defense, and they just have had trouble scoring. Yep.
We'll see. Some newcomers that Athens squad. I know Coach Lister there once again. Steve Satterley taking over as the JV coach for Cody White, now the AD at Athens. I think Devin Shaw on the staff.
Junior high.
So, so it should be fun to watch. Towanda, there'd be my favorite, I think. I just think Boom Thompson, who's had an incredible freshman season. I was talking to his dad. I saw him.
Just for the name.
Great name. I did a game down at Athens at Towanda last year on the radio, and it's funny. I was talking on the radio, and I was up on the top there, and Boom Thompson's dad was right below me, and he came up to me after. I thought he was about to yell at me about something, but I guess I was talking on the radio about how Boom needs to shoot more, and he goes, I keep telling him that. So I asked him the other day when I saw him somewhere on the golf course, I think a couple weeks ago, and if he's going to shoot more, and hopefully he will, because I think as a freshman, you try to spread the ball around.
It's tough as a freshman to come in and start taking shots.
But I think he's going to take over this year, and Coach Landon Henry does a nice job down there.
He does.
Old school, young coach, but old school coach, and hard on the kids, but also just demands hustle and all that kind of stuff, which is, I think that's a good culture down there.
And I think we're in, you cross the valley from just a mile up the road from Athens to Sayre, and I really don't know what Sayre's. They lost 9 seniors. Declan Berry is back.
Broke his ribs in the last football season.
Got dinged up at the end of football season. Should be good to go.
Carter Green got hurt in football season, not able to play this year anyway. But
no, so I don't know. It's going to be
Carter Blyler.
Yeah, he should be. He'll help him. He's good 3-point shooter, but they don't have much experience at all. I mean, Declan Berry, probably the most experience of anybody coming back.
He was kind of 6th man last year, right?
Yeah,
I think.
At times. At times. And I think, it'll be Paul Blight's going to have, to coach. He's not saying he didn't before, obviously, but he had a junior and senior laden group the last 2 years with a lot of talent. Pelicano, then last year, they had, they Hubbard the year before that. Well, he wasn't there with Hubbard, but they had scorers. They had kids that played a lot of basketball.
Like Hudson Trump and all that. They had a lot of talent there and made
Trump
a run last year.
Yes, they did. They had a lot of athletes last year and depth. And this year it turns around, goes the other direction with not much experience whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Looking at the boys basketball when it comes to small school, I think we talked about the favorites in large school, right? I think Athens, Troy, Towanda, never count out Wellsboro and those guys over there, but small school.
Wellsboro's one I kind of forgot. I would say you got to put them in the mix too.
Small school, I mean, Canton, CV, North Penn Liberty, Northeast Bradford, Sayre, and Williamson. It'll be interesting to see who kind of jumps out of the pack there. Yeah,
Williamson might be a team to watch, but you're right. I don't think there's any prohibitive favorites. Of course, last year we pretty much said Sayre was going to win that, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So there's always some surprises in the NTL.
Let's go across the border to New York State for boys basketball. Waverly should bring back. I mean, you got Hogan Shaw leading the way there.
But they're in a tough division. The staff
Class A. Are they Class A now?
They moved up to Class A for this year. They'll be back to B next year. But they're with Seton Catholic and Owego. Tough. Susquehanna Valley, tough division.
Well, Seton Catholics AA. They got bumped up to AA, I know,
right.
Seton, but they do
they're
play.
Still in the Central Division
stack, yeah. And I know that's once again their opening game of the year, I believe, is Waverly Seton. So that's a tough one to start there. Seton really good. I mean,
now that said, you've got a pretty experienced group coming back: Hogan Shaw, Ben Shaw, Porter Dodonna, Ronan Alt. Pretty good group there.
Yeah.
And they got a couple kids coming up from, I think, Braden Judson will help them out. I think he's going to come up this year as a freshman. So I think Waverly's going to be pretty solid. And they, last year, they played the whole season without Xavier Watson and Colson Keithley. So this whole group got pressed into service last year.
It took them a while to find their footing.
Exactly.
And they did well at the end.
And they
almost.
had Fletcher Good. They lost Fletcher Good, who was really good going to the bucket and stuff. But I think, this team got decent size. I think Porter Dodano will come into his own even more. He got better and better as the year went on last year. Decent moves in the low post, pretty good rebounder. And then you also got Carson Rockwell, who, big kid, but he's got great hands. He can really pass the ball. He's got a good touch, and he rebounds, and he's got good size. So, I think
we knew when the move of the stack happened, it was going to be some, just tougher competition.
Well, in the first year they had Joey Tommaso, who was good for 30 a night, regardless of who you're playing.
And Xavier Watson.
Exactly. Keith Lee, and Jay Pfeiffer and Van Houten, they were loaded. And, won their first section title in 24 years, whatever it was. Last year became a normal year for Waverly, where I think, if you're looking at going, 10-8 or 11-9, 12-8, whatever, but you're still going to, if you do that, you're going to get a decent seed because you're playing better.
Yeah.
Now they bumped up to A, which also includes Norwich, I believe, and Norwich is pretty good. That quarterback from the Norwich football team started as a point guard as an eighth grader last year.
And then
Christie.
Stubb.
Yeah.
Casson Stubb, I think, is another good player for them.
So that's a team. Norwich, Seton Catholic won't be there this year in Class A, but Norwich will be.
And Seton Catholic's really a Class D?
C or D.
C or D enrollment, but they're bumped to Double A because of how much they won.
If you win, if you
I always thought it was reserved for state champions, though, to move up like that, but I guess they...
Well, I think they've changed that to section championships, and I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but you're right. It used to be if you won a state title, you bumped. But I think with this program, it's sustained
success
will cost them. So
yeah, but should be interesting. Tioga boys, whether they got anything back?
Yeah, they have a lot back from last year. They got better and better as the year went on. Connor Hutchison, the coach last year, first year coach, did a real nice job with them. Like I said, they got better and better. Jackson Bombard will play point for them. Dominic Palmer, really good athlete. James Miller can shoot the three. Gavin Kithcart pounds the boards. I think Jackson Clark will play this year too. He'll help them on the boards. Or Brendan Clark, excuse me. And I think Tioga will be okay. The IAC small school, Cantor's going to be the class of the small school up there. Jacoby Foster's one of the best players in Section 4, and the Mackey kid can shoot the lights out. He's capable of hitting 6-7 threes a night. They got some size. Cantor's going to be a team to watch, and Cantor will be at Athens' Christmas tournament this year.
Yeah, I think they've settled on the name, the Chop Out Hunger Holiday Classic. They're going to donate some money to Chop, great organization there. But
if you want to see a good ball player, a good team, this Cantor team is fun to watch. Then you go Spencer Vanette, and they've really struggled the last few years. I'm not sure. And Newark Valley's in the same boat. Both those programs are struggling right now, and I think could be more of the same this year. Owego graduated a ton, but we said that about the football team too. So that story. That's Chris Evans, a hell of a coach up there, and he's back. And I think he said this is going to be his final year coaching. And so I wouldn't put it past Owego to put together a pretty good team again this year. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to doing the Waverly-Owego game. It was fun last year on the road at Owego there for Waverly. It was a rowdy atmosphere and a fun time. I don't know if Coach Judson loves playing in Owego. It's a tough gym to play in, although they did change it. They redid it this year. So I think it's a little brighter now, maybe a little more.
The other thing up there, too, is they have Binghamton officials.
Yeah.
So, Waverly doesn't tend to get the benefit of the doubt.
Girls basketball, let's start in New York State. Obviously, Coach Bob Kelly back for the Lady Wolverines, right? They should be pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got, you lose Addison Westbrook, but Riley Judson's back. Caitlin Sutton, they've got their twin towers there. Kendall Rockwell and Lauren Wells, both about 5'10", 5'11". And then you got Mackenzie Olmsted, little spark plug defender, just nonstop, ever ready bunny, and I think they're gonna be good. They're gonna run at teams. They're gonna press teams. They're gonna shoot the three.
I was gonna say that is it a typical Waverly girls team where the live by the three, die by the three kind of? I mean, they shoot a lot of threes up there, and that's always their game plan, to get a lot of shots up and usually
and try to create easy buckets in transition. Yeah, I don't. Bob Kelly's coached that way for years when he was at Notre Dame, and now at Waverly, I don't see anything changing. That's if you can get more shots off than the other team and make more threes than your team, you're going to win a lot of basketball games.
Yeah, Tioga girls still rebuilding up there.
Yeah, and I'm not. Last I heard, I don't want to speculate on anything, but I know for a fact that a few of the girls that played basketball last year are wrestling this year. And last year they lost a few girls to wrestling. So if they pull together a team, it's going to be young.
Yeah, I think if I have this right, that Chop Out Holiday Classic at Athens, Tioga is involved in that, and maybe only the varsity for the girls, though. I think if I have that right, but so maybe not a JV team. They didn't have a JV team
last year, so.
And then other side of the border, Athens, Coach Kelly Allen back once again. Bring back some talent. Also missing some players, lost some talent too. So
yeah, but you get McKenna Jarvis and the Kemp girl. I like her game, Allie Kemp, a lot. I like her a lot. I think those two are going to be a nice 1-2 punch for them. Again, Kelly will do what she'll take what she's got and build the best game plan for those girls.
Yeah, Andrea Davis played a lot as a freshman last year. Alyssa Vo was a freshman. Allie Kemp was a freshman. So Grace Ellsworth just a sophomore a year ago. Kelsey Noel down low back again. So yeah, lost Addie Wheeler, lost Sarah Bronson, two really good players. Megan Morgan played a lot last year for them. So yeah, we'll see. I know Coach Allen and Coach Favre, they've been in the weight room and in the open gyms and all that, and it's gonna be an interesting NTL, I think, with I would imagine Troy's still maybe the team to beat.
Sounds that way.
And new coach over there, who was the boys coach, Renzi, Steve Renzi, I think his name is the first name, but back coach the boys when Ty Barrett was there. He's back coaching the girls now, and I think Coach Gentile down at Towanda always has a good team. Job. Coach Reynolds in Wyalusing is really excited. I know he brings a lot back, and they're cool thing I'm looking forward to. If I can get a seat and a spot to call it, I'll have it on the radio. But they're going to do a school day game, Athens at Wyalusing, with the whole Wyalusing student body there, and then some parents from both sides as well. I think that's going to be a rotating back and forth between Wyalusing at Athens. So cool idea to have, it's going to be a packed house. And I don't know if Athens, I'm not sure if Athens is looking forward to it when they had to go on the road in front of the whole student body, but it's a fun idea.
They were talking about that a couple of years ago to have a wrestling match, Tioga at Waverly. And, that was when Tioga was absolutely loaded. And I remember Chris Harrington telling me, Waverly called to do that, and he said, "Are you sure you want to do that this year?" And they never did do it.
They should. That would be
exactly.
Fun.
It'd be a great match.
It should be. Yeah. So cool idea there. Kudos to Coach Reynolds and Coach Allen for doing that. It's gonna be fun. Coach Reynolds promised me he can find me I told him just be me a school desk on the side of the court. Maybe I can call the game from down there. But yeah, I think NTL girls basketball should be fun to watch once again. Sayre,
Last I knew, they have 9 girls.
9 girls that are coming out.
It sounds like they're gonna. Yeah, it's been a struggle.
The only team.
Yeah.
Once again, but yeah, trying to just fight through it and hopefully build up the program here going forward. But
their point guard went back to Elmira from last year. They graduated 3 seniors, I think. So I think Riley
a couple
Lance
volleyball
is back.
players have decided to play, travel volleyball instead of playing basketball, so that hurts them too. But we'll see. They say they're gonna have a team out there, and I'm sure they'll be working hard and putting in all the time and effort, and hopefully they can find a way to win a couple games. But it's just tough over there, obviously.
Yeah.
With that program right now.
And then the rest of the small school, Canton should be solid. Northeast Bradford.
Always seems to find some players over there.
Yeah. So I think Cowanesque Valley always seems to have a couple girls. Same with Williamson. So usually the small school is fun, competitive.
Yeah, should be fun to watch. Other than that, winter sports, PA side of things, they get in the pool right in the winter.
Yeah, Athens boys and girls both been pretty good the last couple of years. A lot of
Athens district title and boys, right?
Yeah, a lot of district qualifiers on both sides, and that should be fun. Athens lost a couple, like Ethan Hicks graduated, and but they'll bring back quite a bit of talent on both sides.
And then boys swimming in New York State's the winter, right?
And Waverly, 2 or 3 years ago we had, Waverly was breaking state records or Section 4 records and winning gold medals. And last year they had 4 kids, and I'm not sure what they've got this year. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's cyclical or what the reason is. But here's the deal. I've said it for 30 years. The 2 sports where you cannot hide is wrestling and swimming. You either put the work in or you don't, and if you don't, it shows.
Yeah.
So and the Waverly coaching staff, first it was Dave Mastrantono, and now it's his son and his sons, and they expect a level of dedication, and if you put that in and you have any talent at all, you're going to be good. And apparently the kids these days, or at least right now, don't want to do that. So
yeah, I mean that's we can go on for a while about that if you want. Maybe that's a separate episode.
Yeah, exactly. But and I'm not knocking kids. In a way, they've got it much easier than we did, but in another way, they got it much harder than we did. Everybody faces their own trials and tribulations at that age. You know what I mean? And so I can't put myself in their shoes. I've got kids that age, and so but I really can't say firsthand.
No, I mean it's like we have talked to every coach, especially ones that have been around 20 some years. It's a different world nowadays, and different set of kids, and just because it's on top of my mind, it's been bugging me.
And parents.
Since Sunday, I ran the Elks Hoop Shoot, and we had 30 kids come over and participate. Great kids. We did a clinic with the Athens boys varsity staff and players running a clinic for a while. Then they got to compete in the hoop shoot, and hopefully one of them, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, are going to go on and win districts and make a run. And we've had 2 kids, not kids anymore, but were kids when they won national titles for the Sarah Elks, Dave Sickler, Kelly Thomas, and it's a fun ride, and it just bugs me that 30 kids showed up, and we have probably 500 youth basketball players in the Valley. So I'm not sure what that is either, because it was promoted like crazy, and that's just been it's stuck in my crawl right now. Because I remember as a kid, that place was packed, and for the hoop shoot, and I think it's the same kind of thing as nowadays it's tough to get to anybody to commit to stuff sometimes.
Yeah, and parents are different now too. There's I never thought that kids should be forced to do anything.
No.
But encouraged is not a bad thing.
It's fun. I mean, I had a blast in Elks Hoop Shoot when I was a kid. That's why I run it now for the Sarah Elks, and the kids that do it have a blast, and the Elks takes care of them. You keep going and make it to states. You're getting put up in hotels and for free, and getting fed and getting to meet some cool people. And anyway, I can go on forever about that, and we can go on about
the other thing for a while. One thing we haven't touched on is bowling. And, it's funny you say, but Waverly's bowling program they've been in the state tournament the last 3 years. They've won state qualifiers. They've placed, I think, 3rd and 4th. And then last year they were like 7th or something like that. But I mean, that's
Derek Bowman running that.
Yeah, Derek Bowman coaches it. Derek Johnson, who's a standout, who's their center and a standout defensive lineman for the football team, is one of their top bowlers. Colton Santa Lucia is coming back this year as a freshman, another one of their top bowlers. I expect them to be in the mix to win another state qualifier, and they're going to be. I mean, they got the bowling alley right in their backyard, so that's a big really cool bonus. And then Tioga also, for years Tioga was a half step behind Waverly, and their program's fallen off a little bit the last few years, but they're still quality team in the small school ranks.
Speaking of bowling, and just because I saw it on Facebook, I'm friends with his mom, Michael Reynolds from Horseheads, who's now bowling in college, fought cancer last year and beat it. he was at the Eagles Packers game as a Make-A-Wish and got to run on the field and everything. Just if you see it on Facebook, it's really cool. It's he got to hang out with Jordan Love and the whole crew and be on the field and everything. My Eagles got the win. I'm happy about that, but sorry, Michael. But it was really cool to see. So just a great story. Awesome bowler. I've had him on the podcast, Nosebleed Section podcast last year. And so a cool story there to wrap this thing up. That's going to do it. This is kind of our early winter sports preview. We'll know more as the teams.
Yeah, really. I mean, some of the names I mentioned tonight might even be playing. May not decide not to play. That's the nature of high school sports.
Once we get rolling, once they start practice, we'll talk to coaches and get them in here as well, and we'll have obviously much more information. And plus, we still have hopefully a couple more weeks of football season to cover with some of our local squads. But that's going to do it for this episode of Two Guys Talking Sports. We will have at least one or two more episodes this week coming out later on with some interviews as well. But that's going to do it for Tim Birney and Pat McDonald signing off. We'll talk to you next time.